update from yours truly. My skin is on fire all the time. I don't know what's happening to me this winter. I say this, but it literally happens like this every winter. So right now I'm taking a page out of Willow's book, and I bought a tub, like a literal tub of Aquaphor. And typically, I mean, like, I feel like Willow only uses this on her lips, but I'm just dousing my face in it because I can't deal with this anymore. It's so dry. Anyways, welcome back to another vlog. Today, we're doing things for recovery. This can be recovery involving, you know, like muscular recovery. This is going to be stuff like skin recovery, clearly. And these are just little things that I like to do to kind of reset myself, make myself feel better, internally, externally, all that jazz. So stay tuned for my tips and tricks. My very first tip for recovery is skincare, whether that's your face or your body, preferably both. I think it's really important to look for things that are, you know, dermatologist tested, clinically tested, that sort of stuff. Because these kinds of things, which, I mean, I showed Aquaphor earlier and I showed the curl in a previous vlog, but things like this are the things that are going to help heal your skin the most, especially if you're someone like me who struggles with dry skin. If you don't believe me, I'm going to insert a photo somewhere of, like, the back of my neck and how red it gets and stuff. I don't know what happens there, but it's always itchy, it's always dry, it's always super red. The boy points it out all the time and is like, are you okay? But I just think skin recovery is super important. It's, you know, the largest organ that we have, I mean, technically on our body, but you know what I'm saying. And I think it's really important that if you're going to take care of yourself internally, it's also important to take care of yourself externally. Whilst a lot of people think that this involves, you know, food and exercise, I really think that skincare is also very important. I was struggling with such bad acne, and it was so deep rooted, and like it burned and it hurt, and like I tried things like Proactive or whatever other kind of like natural remedies you could possibly find. When I give suggestions, it's not a guarantee that it's going to work for you. I don't want anyone thinking that. However, these two things are stuff that I love to use on my body personally. Again, there's something so therapeutic. Again, we've got some mental recovery in this too. There's something so therapeutic about, like, after having a shower or a bath or what have you kind of thing, and just taking like globs of moisturizer and just like putting it all over your skin. I don't care who you are, what you're doing, you better be moisturizing. I think it's something that should be deemed essential in anyone's routine. Since we just wrapped up the topic of moisturizing our skin and skincare, let's also talk about water. Drinking enough water throughout the day is going to help with your skincare. It's going to help hydrate your body. It's going to help replenish any water you've lost in your physical activity. It's going to help with your digestion. I mean, there's so many benefits of just drinking enough water. So the reason why I got a big like gallon jug like this is because if I have to fill up or refill a water bottle, I just won't do it. Like, I get lazy. So having this by my side, either in my house or later down the line just in my office, if I know that I've gone through this throughout the day, I know that I've gotten a decent amount of water in, right? And even if I don't beat myself up over it. And I find that if it's there, then you're more likely to drink it, right? So this is your message right now. Go drink some water. Okay, so really quickly, I do want to touch upon kind of like post-workout recovery. So I kind of have this at 3 different levels. So your first level is completely free. All you need is a little bit of space, and that's stuff like mobility and stretching. So there is a difference between mobility and like stretching and flexibility. So when you're looking at stretching, usually it's static, and typically you're working within a range of motion that you're comfortable with. The difference with mobility is you're working within a range of motion that you're still comfortable with, but you're also pushing with a little bit more resistance, and there's usually a little bit of dynamic movements with this. So something like mobility is really great because it will play into your gym performance or your physical performance afterwards.
The other thing you could do is something like purchasing a foam roller. This one was $4, I think, or something like that. So they're pretty decent price points. Obviously, you can get ones that look like this. You can get ones that are like longer. You can get ones that vibrate, all this other kind of stuff. So the more fancy you get, the higher the price point will go. But this is just really great to kind of work out any kind of kinks that you might feel in your muscles. I personally like it because a lot of times if my back is sore from sitting at a desk for too long, this is something that kind of helps me stretch it out, roll it out, that sort of thing. And then finally, you have things like your massage guns. Again, this can range in price point too. The one that I use, I will link in the description below in case anyone is interested in purchasing it. And this is just, again, something just kind of work out your muscles and whatnot. Are they completely necessary? No, but again, this is just something where it's like if you're looking for different means of recovery, this might be something that works well for you. While we're on the topic of post-workout recovery, let's quickly talk about, obviously, food. So there's different macro and micronutrients that have a lot of benefits to us. Proteins help rebuild muscle tissue. So essentially, when we're working out and we need to rebuild our muscle because we've torn it down from, let's say, weight training, it's really good to have proteins in our diet. So that way we get essential amino acids and we can help replenish our muscle tissue. The other thing is carbs. So carbs actually help replenish our glycogen stores, which is basically where we get energy. So in order to function throughout the day and keep our energy stores alive and going, we need carbs. Finally, fats are excellent for our hormones. Don't neglect your fat intake. Finally, fruits and vegetables are especially important because that's where we get a lot of our micronutrients, our vitamins, and source of fiber. So my next tip for recovery is to surround yourself with people, things, or activities that bring you joy. Feed your soul. This is because when we're in a bad state of being, our cortisol levels or our stress hormone will shoot up. The more stressed we are, the harder it is for our bodies to recover from anything really. Our immunity is down. It's harder for us to sleep, which we'll get into in a second. And in general, like our cortisol levels end up affecting things like our digestion and our skin and whatnot anyways. So by feeding your soul and bringing yourself joy actually will help improve your recovery. Let's talk about another form of recovery, obviously sleep. We all need it. It's a basic human need. I think one of the biggest things that people kind of tell themselves is that they
have to get 8 hours of sleep and that's the only way they're going to have a good sleep.
Honestly, in my opinion, I feel like the most important part of getting a good night's sleep is entering into REM sleep, which is kind of like your deepest form of sleep. When you are able to actually enter into this state of sleep or this state of restfulness, this is kind of the time period that's really going to help with your recovery. It's going to help with your immunity. It's going to help with your physical performance and all that other kind of stuff. Not in terms of quantity, but in terms of quality. There are some things that I do to kind of help me get a better night's sleep. And I'm not saying that you have to do this by any means, but these are just things that I find have helped me personally. Listening to a podcast or listening to a YouTube video and that sort of thing. And that's just kind of my way of, because I'm not thinking of anything, because I'm listening to something. Melatonin, just to help me fall asleep if I'm having a rough go with that. I also do try to drink water before going to bed. I know that some people are going to be like,
don't you have to go to the bathroom?
I find that I don't usually get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, but I do think it's important to properly hydrate yourself before you go to bed because you're not drinking anything for like whatever it is, 8 hours, 6 hours, what have you. I think that feeling a sense of security while you're sleeping is super, super helpful. Sleep, optimal for recovery.
Recovery looks different for all of us. We could be recovering from physical injury. We could be recovering from mental illness. We could be recovering from grief, a bad day, whatever it is. Recovery is going to look different no matter who you are, and your choice of recovery is going to happen at different phases in your life. You have to be able to put in the effort for that. The things mentioned in this video are pretty mundane, but believe me when I say some of this stuff took me a very long time to actually accept the fact that, hey, maybe I should consider doing this. And actually implementing those things regularly didn't come easy, and it might not come easy for you either. But the big thing when it comes time to recovery is that you do deserve it, and you deserve to feel healed. So with that, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, 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 bye.